I recently did a 3-day egg fast, and today I'm going to talk about what happened during my egg fast and after my egg fast, so stick around. I've had them for about 15 years, maybe longer than that, and they're just not working at all. So I'm taking that as a sign that I need to stop weighing myself every day and obsessing about my weight and just get my body healed. And then once it's healed, it will probably drop this weight a lot easier. Hi there, my name is Sue. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, I have been eating a carnivore diet now for 3 years. So it's 3 years this month since I started. So sometimes I've been strict carnivore, other times I've been more living carnivore where I eat fermented vegetables as well as my animal-based foods. I have had some amazing health benefits from this way of eating, but I still have some stuff going on. So I still have some weight to lose, quite a bit of weight to be honest. And I still have some issues with my gut in particular. And so I'm trying to resolve those things. My weight has been quite a focus of late, and I've been trying to force my body to actually drop some weight, and that doesn't always seem to work so well for me. But in my wisdom, I decided to try this 3-day egg fast. I've been thinking about it for a little while, and I hadn't heard of it until I saw people talking about doing it on X, so in the carnivore community on X. And I made a video on day 3 of my egg fast, which you can check out if you want to do that. And so at that point, I still wasn't sure how long I was going to keep going for. When I started the egg fast, I initially thought I might do anything between 1 day and 5 days, just depending on how I felt. And when I was on day 3, I still wasn't sure quite how long I was going to go for, but I ended up ending my egg fast after the 3rd day. So just a brief rundown what an egg fast is if you've not heard of it. So it's obviously not a fast, you're not eating, but it is another form of modified fast. So there are different types of modified fasts, such as eating eggs, doing fat only days, doing sardine only. These are kind of short-term temporary diets that mimic fasting in some ways in your body and get similar results. And so the egg fast is one of those things. Now, the rules around the egg fasting is that you eat eggs, butter, or other types of healthy fats if you want to do that. But most people do eggs and butter. Some people do some cheese, just as a bit of flavoring, not a lot of cheese, just a little bit, and herbs and spices if you want to do that as well. So in my case, I was eating eggs and butter, salt, and a bit of pepper. That was about it, really. I didn't really have any cheese or anything else. And the reason that I decided to try this was because I was curious after seeing the results that other people were getting. I am trying to reduce my insulin resistance, and I've spoken about that on recent videos. I just wanted to lose some weight, so I've got probably close to 20 kilos to lose. And I thought, well, this might be a way of kind of kickstarting some more weight loss, because I spoke about in my last video, I've been kind of stuck at just over the 90 kilo mark for probably maybe close to 2 years. I just keep going up and down the same 3 or 4 kilos and can't seem to get below that 90 kilo mark. So I thought, well, the egg fast might be a way of doing that. And so, as I said in my last video, I was on day 3. I was feeling really good. What I found was that I had diarrhea each morning, but that seemed to be improving. As I got to day 3, it was better. If you've not followed me and seen my earlier videos, diarrhea has been one of my bigger challenges for a number of decades, to be honest, and in particular since I've been on the carnivore diet. And so it seems to me like if I create any changes, if I try to push my body to lose weight or anything, the diarrhea comes back. I'm quite sensitive to changes in my food, still sensitive to supplements. And so it's just a thing that seemed to happen. But what I found on the egg fast was that even though I had diarrhea, it wasn't really bad. And once it was done, and I felt really good. So I was feeling really well. But what I found on day 4, this video is sponsored by Particular Supplements. Particular are all about healthy aging and science-backed longevity, with supplements like NMN, resveratrol, and spermidine, while also supporting metabolic health, energy, and overall well-being. Every Particular supplement is third-party tested with certificates of analysis publicly available, so you can verify your bottle's purity and potency yourself. And they are made in FDA and NSF registered facilities in the USA without fillers, artificial additives or GMOs, just pure clinically dosed ingredients. To find out more about particular, visit the link below the video and use my code Carnivore15 for 15% off your order. So day 4, I was the same as the other days. I was unsure whether I was going to continue. I actually had an appointment to go and have a contact care treatment. So I do contact care in my business. It's a modality that has originated here in New Zealand that is very successful with a lot of things and creates some very amazing results with lots of different problems. But I was going to someone else for a contact care treatment, and so I was worried about having diarrhea again and stuff. And when I woke up on the 4th morning, I just had a little bit of abdominal discomfort, I guess. And so I thought, I'm going to stop the egg fast. And so I had some red meat for breakfast that morning. And then I went for my appointment later that day. So anyway, had my treatment, all was well. The next day when I got up, I had a fairly upset gut and diarrhea. And so I thought, oh, okay. And it was worse than it had been when I was on the egg fast. So I wasn't quite sure what was going on there. And it ended up that I had 3 days. And the 3rd day was, so that was last Thursday, was actually quite bad. I was depressed. I was just not feeling great. Quite bad diarrhea. It took most of the day for that to settle down. And yeah, and I wasn't quite sure really what was going on. And so my thoughts are with that it could be one of a number of things. So I spoke in my last video about how I am unsure whether eggs actually really agree with me or not. I've been testing it out here and there, but because there's been so much else going on with my gut, my digestive system, I'm never quite sure whether it's the eggs, whether it's oxalate dumping, whether it's histamine. And so it makes it really tricky to decide whether the eggs are an issue or not. And I'm still not sure. So that was one of my thoughts with this digestive discomfort and upset for those days after I finished on the egg fast. I wasn't sure whether the egg fast had set me up for that. But it seemed quite strange that even though I know it can take a few days for a food that you've eaten to cause a problem, it seemed strange to me that I was eating a dozen eggs or more for 3 days in a row, and yet I felt really good, even though I had a little bit of diarrhea in the morning. My gut wasn't bad. My headspace was really good. I was feeling really well, but then when I stopped, that was when things went backwards. So was it the eggs that set me up for that? I don't know. My other thought was that maybe it was the contact care treatment, because with contact care, it's really common for the first 3 days in particular after a treatment for there to be what we call unraveling. And unraveling can be emotional symptoms, they can be physical symptoms, they can be aches, pains, they can be digestive issues, all sorts of things. It just depends on what your body starts doing with the treatment. So the fact that the 3rd day was the worst day, I'm actually wondering whether that was a big part of what was actually going on with me. I'm not sure. The other thing is that my digestive health seems to have been going just a little bit backwards over the last couple of months. And I didn't actually realize why that might be until fairly recently. I spoke in my last video about how my vertigo has come back very slightly. So I've had issues with vertigo for over 15 years, off and on, and it was quite bad. Now, since I've been on carnivore, it was off and on initially, and then it stopped, and I hadn't had any problem for a long time. But then it started again at the end of February. And not bad, but it's there when I lie down. Not bad, but a bit of a sway. And then when I sit up again in the morning to get up. So I've been a little bit confused about why that has come back. And I've just realized that maybe it's because I stopped taking Tadka. So I was taking Tadka for probably close to a year, which helped massively with my ability to metabolize and eat fats. And I'd forgotten that Tadka actually has neurological benefits as well. It has benefits for your brain, has benefits for your eyes, your digestive health, liver, gallbladder, and all that sort of thing. I was just thinking about the whole gallbladder side of things and the liver, and had forgotten about the other benefits that Tadka has. So if you don't know what Tadka is, it's a bile acid. So it is a single acid that is made in our bile that has quite far-reaching effects in our bodies. And so Chinese medicine have used taka for thousands of years probably. They used to extract it from bears. They don't do that anymore. It's now made synthetically. And so I had been taking this, I had run out and thought, oh, well, I should be all right because I seem to use fats quite well now. They don't affect me the same as they had been initially. And so I stopped taking it. And I'm wondering if that's actually what was going on. Maybe it was a combo of that plus the unraveling from my treatment just made things a bit worse. I don't really know. So I've ordered some more taka. It should be arriving today, I think. And so I'm going to start taking that again. Now, I had thought about doing another egg fast this weekend. That's just gone. It's Monday today, the day making this video. So it's been a week since I stopped my last egg fast. And I had thought about doing another one because the benefits to my blood glucose and ketones were amazing. I was really astounded at how good my glucose was and my ketones. And I did drop 1.7 kilos in the 3 days or in 4 days because I think I dropped 1.3, and then the day that I actually broke my fast, I dropped another 400 grams after that. But then what I have found is that my weight has gone back up again by about a kilo just from eating my normal diet. There's a couple of people who made comments on, I don't know whether it was X posts that I'd put up or whether it was on my video, but a couple of things that have stuck in my mind. One was a lady who asked, would it be possible that you have maybe an impacted bowel? And my initial thought was no, I don't think so, because I've had diarrhea for so long. She said that she had an impacted bowel. She ended up doing the GAPS diet, and that has resolved it. She was having diarrhea on Carnivore, and she doesn't have diarrhea anymore. So I have done the GAPS diet years ago, but I didn't stick with it strictly for long enough probably. I did it because I had an overactive thyroid, and so I read Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride's first book on GAPS, the original one, and I embarked on the GAPS diet, and it made a massive difference to my overactive thyroid and seemed to help there. And once my symptoms had settled down from that, I relaxed to what I was doing, and I probably didn't stick with it long enough to really heal my gut properly. And also, back then I used to eat a lot of fruit, which I was listening to Dr. McBride the other night. She was saying, if there's anything going on with your gut, you shouldn't be eating fruit because it feeds fungus and keeps health issues going and keeps them progressing, basically. That was probably my case because I used to eat a lot of fruit, and I also used to drink large quantities of red wine. And so, yeah, I obviously didn't get my gut healed up properly back then. What I'm planning is to revisit the GAPS diet. I have ordered Dr. McBride's newer GAPS book, so the blue one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link to her books below the video so you can go and check those out. I have ordered her blue book, which is more about the physiology side of things rather than the psychology side of things, although I am affected both ways by my gut. I do very much notice now when my gut gets really unhappy, my mental state gets really unhappy as well. And so I'm looking forward to getting her book, and I'll revisit that, and I'm going to follow her program and get this gut settled down completely. The other thing that I've noticed, that I've realised in the last few days thinking about all of this, is that every time I try to make my body lose weight, that's when things all turn to crap. Whether it's getting stricter with my diet, whatever, that's when things go a bit haywire for me. And so I think it's just that my body probably isn't ready, and I'm trying to force it to do stuff that it's not ready for. So the focus will be on my gut. I was saying to hubby yesterday that I need to forget about the weight loss for a while and just get healed. I need to get this digestive system of mine properly healed. And as happens these days often, I find that when I say things manifest really quickly. I got up this morning, went to jump on the scales, and my scales have died. I've had them for about 15 years, my set of Tanita scales, maybe longer than that, and they're just not working at all. So I'm taking that as a sign that I need to stop weighing myself every day and obsessing about my weight and just get my body healed. And then once it's healed, it will probably drop this weight a lot easier. So that is where I'm at. As I said, the egg fasting is something that I may do more of, not only for the weight, it's about insulin resistance, and that's part of my healing, is getting my blood glucose to be more consistently low and get my insulin resistance gone. That's part of my health journey. So that was my 3-day egg fast experience, my first one. And yeah, if you have done any egg fasting, let me know in the comments below. If you've got any comments or questions about what I'm talking about here, do pop them below as well, and I will get to them as soon as I can. Make sure to subscribe, like and share with anyone you think might be interested in what I'm talking about. Today, I thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.